Hi guys, Bob here, and hello again, and I am back, sort of. So this is a channel update, and obviously I'm in the car, as you can probably hear. I'll try and put some camera footage to this. I've got my dash cam, so I can always just take it off of there, see if there's anything exciting on there, which I don't think there is. My heater's blasting away here. Try and turn that off. So I hope you guys are well, and I apologise profusely for not having uploaded for probably the best part of nearly 2 months, I think it is. And there's not really any big excuse for that other than pure laziness. So this is a wee bit of a channel update, let you know what I've been up to, why I've kind of not been on, and it's just kind of normal reasons in all honesty. But yeah, the last video I did was the review of the video converter, which I enjoyed doing, and I then was planning on other videos. I even recorded a few to do with Christmas memories, and I was going to do a Christmas video, and just kind of got out of touch with uploading. I think I had missed a week, and then it led to another week, and it led to another week, and another week after that, and then I just was like, okay, I'm not doing YouTube at the moment. It's just one of those things that happen. Life kind of takes over and does its own thing. So as I say, I apologise for those that maybe regularly check in on my channel to see what I'm up to. Apologies for not uploading any content. I mean, I've been watching other people, watching Meme Meister and the usual suspects. Still got a lot of people to catch up with, video wise. But Meme Meister's saying, oh, I'm sorry for not uploading as much, and he's uploaded like 2 or 3 videos that week. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, if I could upload even a video a week, I would be happy. And it's kind of been just due to that I wanted my content to be better, and I just felt that me blabbing or talking about nonsense wasn't really what I'm trying to do with YouTube. And I just get into these wee funks every now and again to do with my YouTube channel and what I should be doing with it and what I shouldn't be doing with it. So I'm out and I'm going to go a beach walk, which I'll probably continue talking about a subject or something like that. But this is my first drive in a week, and I'll explain later on why that is the case. It's a bit of a silly story, I guess, but I'll explain that when I get to the location of the thing I want to talk about. So, kind of Christmas is gone and byway. I hope everybody's having a good new year, relatively. I mean, every time New Year comes around, everybody's like, oh, 2020 or 2019 or whatever will be better than last year, and it turns out to be kind of just the same thing that it was the previous year, and nothing really, the midnight strike of the clock doesn't suddenly change the world into a better place, or your work into an absolutely fantastic place to work. And you don't win the lottery, and life goes on, and people get hurt, or you end up arguing with people, and also you end up with good memories as well. I mean, 2019 for me was a good year for me. 2019 was a year where I found mental health, I guess would be the right word. I was broken in 2019. The start of 2019, I was at the bottom of the mental barrel, and gained the tools that I require mentally to cope with life. And it's not something I've got round to talking about, and I keep promising, but maybe this is a video for that. But yeah, 2019 I going through some family issues, I guess, relationship issues, and having arguments over silly things, and I don't cope well with conflict. It's just not something I cope well with, and it led me to, I didn't have like a nervous breakdown or anything like that. just had some severe issues coping. I ended up, when issues arose, I would feel so tired that I could barely move, and I would just be saying to my family, okay, I'm going to my bed, and I'd come in from work and I'd go to bed and I'd be at work and I wouldn't be able to concentrate because of just anxiety and caused by kind of tiny little things that shouldn't really matter, and I didn't seem to have the tools to cope with those situations. And 2019 for me was the year where I actually went to the doctors and I said, look, I'm not coping, and the doctor said okay. To be fair, it wasn't the best, I'm not going to lie. I went to the doctor and I told him my situation, just with conflict and stuff like that, and he was quite dismissive. He was I can't send you to see a counsellor because they don't like it if I just send somebody that's not actually got something wrong with them. And I was sitting there going, it took me quite a lot to go to the doctors and admit, to that point I was kind of in deniability, I guess, or that's probably not even a word. I was in denial about the way I was. I'm fine, depression, anxiety doesn't affect me, the big man kind of idea. And it took quite a lot for me to convince myself that maybe I should go. So I went and spoke to him, and like I said, he wasn't overly helpful, and he said, here's an online National Health Service course that you can do. It's called Beating the Blues, and it's a kind of depression, anxiety type talks. And I was a wee bit disappointed when I came out. I still wasn't overly convinced that I required to go to a counsellor. I thought I can learn to cope with this myself. So I went and did the course. And went through it, felt it was a bit of a waste of time. I'm getting into the 60 mile an hour limit here. Felt it was a bit of a waste of time, and sorry, somebody was standing at the side of the road there with the biggest camera I've ever seen. I did the course, and the course was kind of outdated, and it was just not the best. The acting was obviously they'd hired actors to come into this programme, and it wasn't really what I thought I should be doing. So I went through it anyway. I didn't really do any of the homework or any of the exercises. Came out the other end of it and felt it wasn't really applicable to me. I mean, this was over a kind of 2-month period, something like that. And I just continued on with the way things were. And this would actually have been 2018, end of 2018, that I was doing this online course. So I thought, okay, carry on, done the course, you've learned some things, and well, you'll be fine. So I actually went on, still had conflict issues, and decided I need to go back because I'm still not coping with this. I'm still going to my bed, big pothole. I'm still going to my bed, and basically I've no energy, have no real want to do anything, don't know how to cope with the situations that I've got to deal with. So how do I deal with this? And I just kind of plodded along for a wee bit. Ow, sorry. And then decided that I needed to go back to the doctors again. So I went back, and again the doctor was quite unresponsive about the whole thing. He was quite dismissive of me. I'm just sitting down the shore, tide is in. But he said to me, okay, I'll refer you, and they'll be in touch. So I can't remember, this was late 2018 or early 2019. But I just knew I wasn't coping. I actually was really not coping at that point. Almost like a sense of, I don't want to go into great detail, but I had developed a kind of paranoia when these things that I didn't want to happen in life were happening, the kind of conflict, arguments, and just I had developed this just paranoia that there was somebody in the room with me, and I needed to talk to somebody about this. So anyway, they sent me to the hospital, and I sat with a psychiatric nurse for 2 hours approximately. I think it was, just going through how I was feeling, and what my issue was. And the psychiatric nurse said to me that he wasn't sure whether I needed to see an actual psychiatrist or not. So it was it's like all these YouTube things, I don't know whether to speak frankly as much as I should, but then when other people don't, I find it doesn't help me. So he asked if he was going to go and speak to the actual psychiatrist to see whether they wanted to speak to me. And I waited, and he came back and dismissed me, he discharged me out of the hospital that day, and I headed home, feeling better for getting things off my chest, and waited, and I got a phone call the following day from the nurse. He just said that he'd spoke to the psychiatrist and he didn't think there was anything mentally wrong with me, and that what might be happening was they called it a silent migraine. And the way he described the silent migraine to me was that your brain becomes so overloaded that you start having the similar symptoms to a migraine, where you see your visual system kind of breaks down a wee bit. And I'd been seeing this kind of shimmer with the paranoia, so they described it as a kind of silent migraine. So I listened to this. I was pleased that they had I was not in serious issues or anything that was really serious. And he said, okay, I'm going to send you on the 10-week group course for cognitive behavioural therapy. And that lasted from kind of January through to March. So I was to go along once a week for a 2 or 3 hour session with a group therapy team. So it was every Tuesday, I think it was, I went to the hospital and you went in, and it was quite nerve-wracking the first day I went in, because you're going into this psychiatric hospital that's local to where I live, and there's obviously other people with more severe issues being treated. It's not like a secure hospital or anything like that. It's not like a kind of, it is just a hospital. But you were to get into this room that was kind of like a conference room with a big table in the middle, and there was other people coming in, and everybody was nervous. And obviously you sit and you talk through the CBT method, which is a very, very strong method that I would recommend to anybody. It was the same thing that was in the online course, but because it was being taught to me by a nurse, I felt that I could get more out of it. And I didn't. Again, I'm sitting going to the group therapy sessions between January and March, or January and end of February, and I didn't feel that I was getting anything from it. And it wasn't actually till I really late on in the course that something clicked inside me. I realised I'd been listening to a lot of stuff outside the hospital stuff, a lot of psychiatry stuff, a lot of psychology books, and stuff to do with other methods of mindfulness. And previously I would have just laughed off mindfulness when I hear about it at work and stuff. I'd be like, oh my goodness, who actually needs this stuff? Who needs breathing techniques and those types of things? And it turns out I do. So yeah, it's been an ongoing thing, and this wasn't really the purpose of this video. This video is maybe an update video. talk. But I figured I'd record this while I'm kind of in the flow. So yeah, did my stint, and there was no really. One of the things I asked during the support group was, "Is there anything after this?" And they said, "No, there's nothing after it. But if you need to come back and speak to a nurse, it'll be through the doctor again and referral. And then we might do one-to-one sessions with a counsellor with you." Now I've never been back. I left after the 8 weeks. Met some nice people when I was there. We've never been in touch since. But it gave me the tools to do what I needed it to do. It's a very difficult thing to describe. I mean, I've tried to describe to my kids the techniques and the methods, and I think it's an individual thing, unfortunately. But one of the main techniques that I learned was watching my mind. It wasn't specifically taught as part of the CBT stuff, but it was in the periphery, to do with automatic thoughts. So the main point of this tool that you can use to help yourself is, if you, like I can be quite an angry person, I like things to be under my control, I guess. I get what I mean by that is, like, when my kids misbehave or did something when they were younger, I used to expect them to do what I said straight away without question. And I would get angry if I couldn't control the situation as such. And one of the things that you were kind of taught is not to judge that feeling, but to watch it. So, as an example, we're in Tesco's maybe a year ago, and one of my daughters was trying to look at some clothes, and I was trying to get her to try something on, and I was like, "Go and try that on in the fitting rooms," and she was like, "No," and she got in a bad mood with me, and I got in a bad mood with her, and the rage within me was just the usual annoyance, really, really angry annoyance that she wouldn't do what she was told. And I watched it, and within a few minutes I had calmed down. My anger had dissipated. I was like, "What are you doing?" And I apologised to my daughter for being angry, and we moved on from there. So it's made me be able to control my anger. The other thing is helplessness. So during all these conflict issues that I was having last year, I managed to step back from them all, and I was trying to fix everything. That's the kind of control thing, trying to make everything better, not understanding why things should be the way they were. And I would be trying to convince people that this isn't the way this should be or that should be. And I was trying, because I know best, that kind of idea in my brain. But that's just not how other people work. Other people have their own minds, and me trying to get my brain to realise this has been a challenge. I don't know where it comes from, whether it's my upbringing, kind of the church, and this is how things should be, and this is what you should believe, or whatever. But yeah, it's the biggest tool that I came away from with from the hospital was this mindfulness idea, this idea of there's two people, you're watching the other person, and when you watch your own self, your own mind, you should be in control of your mind. You should, being a bad word to use there, to gain control of your mind, it's a good technique to watch how your body reacts and not to judge it. But by watching it, the time that it takes for your body to calm down or to remove that feeling from itself is lessened, or that's what works for me. Breathing, focusing on your fingers and your hands and your arms. I mean, again, I've heard of this a million times before, but I'd never actually tried to practice it. And when I first did these exercises, none of them really worked. And what it was time. So you watch your brain for a few seconds when you're angry or when you've because everybody's got their own issues. But you watch your brain for a short duration of time, and the more you do it, the more quicker it actually comes into effect. So when I was maybe having a conflict situation, I would look at how my brain was reacting, and normally it would just go into all these mind movies, and eventually I would be like, this person's going to do this, and this person's going to do this, and this person's going to do this, and I should say this, and I should say that, and this shouldn't be happening. And my brain would literally just go into overload, like watching picture-in-picture TV or CCTV screens where you see all the screens at the same time. And I would go to my bed, I would put in an audiobook in my ears just to try and distract my brain, but then I would still be thinking about all the conflict and all the issues that were ongoing. And I just couldn't cope. But by watching the reaction that my body had, by watching the mind, and it's a weird thing to say out loud, but you're self-conscious. That's like one of the things about human beings, is we are aware of ourselves. We're self-aware, and that's kind of what you're doing. You're actually becoming more self-aware, aware of how your body and your emotions react to your thoughts. So one of the CBT things is automatic thoughts, and why and how they're quite negative quite often. So often you'll have a situation, one of the ones they give you an example of is that you're walking along the street and there's a person that you know walking across the other side of the street, and you wave to them and they don't acknowledge you, they don't see you, they don't wave to you, they just seem to ignore you, and your automatic thoughts are, what have I done? What does that person think about me? Have I done something that I don't know about? Have they seen something said about me? And it's usually quite a negative process where your brain is having these thoughts without really thinking, well, maybe the person didn't actually see me. But your brain doesn't have the speed. If you've not practiced it, you don't have the speed to catch those thoughts and process them in a fact-based kind of thing. It might be that you've done something wrong with that person and they might have ignored you, but you don't know that for sure, but your brain convinces itself that that's the case. And the CBT thing is that you recognize these thoughts, these thought patterns, and you watch your thoughts, you watch how your mind works, and by doing so, and I've found this is the biggest effect on me, by watching when I get angry about control problems or something being messy in the house, or that I can calm down a lot quicker and think more rationally. Now, I've not had any more episodes of paranoia since I left hospital, since I learned these techniques, and it's not something that's talked about a lot. I've got people at work who have similar mental health anxieties, I guess, or situations where they're struggling to cope, whether it be the stress of work. And they're going through similar things, and we've talked about it at work and various bits and bobs. My work is actually pretty good or the place that I work at is pretty good for covering mental health. And my body still looks at these mindfulness things and yoga, and I still kind of laugh a wee bit internally about how silly that is, or I don't know whether it's a Scottish thing, but that is what it is. So anyway, that's me talk to you through. And 2019 for me was a year where I would almost say it's one of the best years of my life in terms of my mental state of mind and learning how to cope with pretty much every situation I now come across, whether it be work or home life. I've now got tools to use that make my life a heck of a lot easier and a heck of a lot more calmer. You still obviously have ongoing issues with but you just deal with them differently. The situation outside of yourself doesn't really change, but internally you've changed to be able to cope with the situations in a much more appropriate manner. So yeah, 2019 for me was good. I now in 2020, like I said, I don't think a new year makes massive differences to your life. I think you can have a change between years. Like for me, it would probably be the end of 2018 to 2019 that life changed for me. I still got my battles to go through, still got my relationships to mend, and yeah, so that's the mental health talk, I guess. I'm sitting in my car with probably people looking at me, wondering what I'm doing, and I'm waiting to go my walk and then talk about the thing I talked about at the beginning as to why I'm sore, why I'm in pain. But why have I not been on YouTube? Gaming. The weird thing about the fact I've not been on YouTube is that I started my YouTube channel on the plan that it was to do with gaming, and even though that's how I started it, by getting all my gaming setup done, my MAME card built, my game room done, I have been playing a heck of a lot of PlayStation VR and PlayStation 4 games and retro games. So yeah, I've just been doing a heck of a lot of stuff. It's really winded in here. I'm not even sure I'm going to go a walk. But yeah, just turning on my dash cam. I don't think I'm going to go a walk because the wind has got really quite strong and I don't have a bonnet to keep my ears nice and cosy. Yeah, I have been up in my room playing a lot of games. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to go and record where I wanted to record. But gaming has took over. I haven't done any artwork since the Blade Runner drawing. I still owe people posters, which is my issues. I get very insular, I get very isolated inside myself or inside my family life, and everything outside kind of drops away. But I will get around to those things. Hope this mental health talk has been maybe of use to you, or if you want to message me privately about any techniques or anything that I've learned, you can do that on my Twitter. I think I'm Weebob Gaming, something like that. Or you can email me. I'm pretty sure my email's on the about page. But if any of you want to talk about anything, obviously that's not my place. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. Just to talk about my situation or to maybe point you in the right direction, then let me know, and just let me know. But hopefully I'll go on and do some more videos. Hopefully we'll go back to one video a week about various things. And I just apologise for not having been keeping the YouTube up to date. I hope you are all well. I wish you all the best for 2020, even though it's now we're into the kind of middle of January. But aye, that's it. So happy days. Cheers everybody, and Weebob is out. Hi guys, Weebob here. So the reason I am sore, and I'm hoping that my microphone's protected enough from the wind, is that I decided to get back into some fitness and cycling, and therefore decided to cycle along this road. However, it was pitch dark the other morning, and I'm cycling along from there, along this way, and a big lorry's coming towards me and puts on his high beam lights, at which point I get blinded, and this thing here appeared out of the darkness. I seen it, panicked, but hit it, ended up flying over my handlebars and landing somewhere kind of here. So That is why I am sore, because a big stupid lorry stuck his high beam on. And I mean, it was one of these lorries with all the lights around the outside, and I decided to go flying over the handlebars and land on my shoulder, to which I now have been to the hospital. Thankfully no broken bones, but some serious damage to my shoulder muscle ligaments. And yeah, so down the beach, I've just finished doing my wee mental health talk and I'm freezing, so I'm going back in my car. Hope you guys are well. Wee Bob's out.